This is John for Everyday Fan Sports. I'm here today. I'm on the beat. I got the idol. I got the symbol. I got the man. I got Joey Roth. How are you, man?
I am doing fabulous. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great. I probably should have just had you introduce yourself because you would probably do it better because you're the man.
Johngy, I've known you for quite some time right now. If I would have anybody other than Lance Russell from Memphis Television introduce me, I would have you be the one who introduces me because I put you on the same tier as all those other guys right there. I honestly, I think I would put you just a little bit higher right now because Johngy and anything that you do is 100% on the beat and everything else is, yeah, I'll have you introduce me anytime.
Well, I return the favor. I've had you do some interviews for me, and we'll get to that in a few minutes. But
Oh, for sure.
as you see, I am representing Joey Roth
That's a beautiful shirt.
Well, a good journalist should represent his interview target.
Sure.
Now, I know I've talked to you in the past. I've interviewed you several times, but for those new fans on EDF, could you give us a brief background of Joey Roth?
Ooh, geez. You'd kind of think they would Google me first. No, Joey Roth, I've been doing professional wrestling for almost 20 years. I was a pro wrestler. I'm a manager. I'm a commentator. I'm an actor. I do improv. I do anything and everything I can to make a buck. Even some things I won't talk about, but we'll talk about that some other time. No, but anyway, I'm just an all-around utility player who could do anything you ask him to do.
Now, you wrestle and you manage.
Yes.
I assume you started as a wrestler.
I did start as a wrestler way back in 2003. What happened was I was talking with a honky tonk man, Wayne Ferris, such a great guy, and I was on his message board when message boards weren't really that popular back then. So it was like 2002. And then in February 2003, he hooked me up with a group outside of Hammond, Indiana called IUWA. And I met my first manager, Lexi Quinn, and she had now her fiance, now husband, was wrestling, and they wanted to branch out with more wrestlers in their group. They were an offshoot of the ICP guys. You got to start somewhere. So what I did was they asked me to show up for a TV taping, and a TV taping turned into my very first match, and my very first match turned into almost 20 years of doing this.
Now, what groups are you with right now, currently?
Right now, as everybody knows, I am the leader of the world famous Fabulous Idols, and we own Rocket Pro Wrestling, which we won back a few months ago. We won control of the company. Not only with Rocket Pro, I'm also with POW Entertainment, one of the longest running federations in the whole entire Midwest. And I'm also part of Chicagoland Championship Wrestling, who you can see on Amazon Prime. I do commentary along with my partner, Steve Arendt. And me and Steve really don't see eye to eye, considering we have a lot of issues going on at Rocket Pro. But I also have a couple of surprises coming up in the next couple of weeks, which I can't talk about right now. But if you keep your eyes open, you're going to see something really, really cool that nobody would ever expect to happen.
Well, I know what that is. You and I have talked about that a little bit before, but we're going to let the fans find that out when it happens. And they could follow you on social media, and they could check out my coverage on EDF.
Exactly. You'll find out in maybe a couple of weeks.
Yeah, you got to let them hang. You got to build the.
Oh, of course. Yeah, exactly. I can't tell everybody exactly what I'm doing all the time. I like to keep people guessing.
Oh, that's a fact. So, who would you say was your biggest match?
My biggest match? Oh gosh, geez. I've had quite a few big matches, but I think the greatest group of matches I ever had was for the IPW Chicagoland champion. As you know, as everybody else, as the world knows, I was the IPW champion for over 1,200 days, whatever it was, over 3 years. And then that night, I defeated 4 guys to become the IPW Chicagoland champion. But the best victory I ever had was in the finals of that match when I defeated one of the greatest independent workers of all time, the bruiser, Max Holiday, the bruiser of the Midwest. You know, he's just was you know Max Holiday. He's
Absolutely.
huge and gargantuan. I was able to beat him, and I was able to go on to the finals and win that championship belt, which I held for over 3 years.
Well, that's incredible. I mean, nobody holds belts anymore for 3 years. They're like hot potatoes these days.
Yeah, because you know they're not as good as I am.
So let me ask you this: what makes I know getting to your managing side? What makes you a good manager? Or, excuse me, a great manager.
What makes me a fabulous manager, because I do manage the world famous Fabulous Idols in Rocket Pro Wrestling, but also in POW Entertainment, I manage one of the greatest tag teams of all time, BMI, the Bruiser Mass Index, with Mike Idol and Jamie Race. Those two guys are, you know, they're slept on in the whole entire independent, the indies in professional wrestling. But what makes me the greatest of all time is just the knowledge and the wealth of experience that I bring to everybody that I'm associated with. I have the brains, I have the talent, I've got the smile, and that right there, when you add all these different kind of layers to what I do, that makes me the greatest of all time. You know what? The greatest in what we do of all time. Yeah, Bobby Heenan, Jimmy Hart, Gary Hart, all those guys, they're the past. Who cares about the future? Joey Roth is right now the greatest wrestling manager of all time.
Now, why do you think
what makes it great? That's what makes it great.
Well, why do you think managers aren't used as much in the big leagues, in the WWE and Impact and AEW?
Because nobody, you know, that's a question that I've been asked a lot. It's because they don't have me there. But other than that, it's the fact that nobody knows how to control an audience. Nobody knows how to control a crowd. When you have your charge in the ring and he's getting beer, he's getting hooked like that, you need to go ahead and give that person, you need to give that wrestler in there some kind of oomph. You got to give him some kind of motivation to get going, to get past all the people out there who might be booing them, who might be chanting whatever they want to chant or anything like that. That's where Joey Roth comes in. That's why I'm the greatest ever in anything ever, including tiddlywinks and bowling for bath towels and everything like that. That's why I'm the greatest. I bring out the fighting instinct in all my guys. All right. I bring out what is buried deep in the subcockles of their heart, the hatred and the pain they want to inflict. I make them draw from personal experiences. I make them I make them pull from whatever bias and whatever offends them and everything like that. I make them bring it out, and they bring it out in the ring. And what happens when that happens is they win matches and they make me money.
On the big level, WWE, TNA, Impact, AEW, not necessarily your favorite, but who do you think needs Joey Roth the most?
They all need Joey Roth the most. All right. You know, you have the guys in WWE, and we all know what's going on over there. Thankfully, there's kind of a shift in authority over there. So who knows? Maybe over there you'll see the managers. But you know, Impact, a lot of people sleep on Impact. All right. But people do not realize they've been around for over a decade now. All right. They always are the Impact six-sided ring for whatever they're dealing with now. But they've still been in the game. No matter who they've had as their head in charge, who, she, he, them, or anything, they've been around for a very long time. Not because they're stupid. In this business, you are not around that long because you're dumb. You're around that long because you do have something up there. And if Impact right now would have a little bit of this up there, they would have Joey Roth on their television show, and they would finally be number one. Because I think Impact definitely has the ability to do something like that. And with Joey Roth, they could do it.
Well, they could do it with Joey Roth, but you also have a little help, a little blonde help.
I do have a little blonde help, but, you know, she's out there drumming up some business for me now. The beautiful blonde bombshell queen of all of wrestling, not just independent, but professional, Roxy Hart, my main squeeze, my wife, my everything. come on, man. The greatest thing that's ever happened to Joey Roth is, you know, they have belts and whatever like that is Roxy Hart. She's my everything. And right now she's out there drumming up business for me. She's my agent. She's my confidant. She's everything I've ever wanted. Roxy Hart is the heart. Get it, Hart. And she's got the brains. She's the brains behind the brawn of everything we do.
Now, both of you have belts. You've got the Roth belt. She's got the Roxy Hart belt.
It's sitting over there.
When are you guys going to defend those? And please tell me you're not going to do an Elliot Serrano and be the paper champ of media who never defends his title. I'm sorry, I had to squeeze that in.
Oh, no. Whoa. Elliot Serrano. Okay, well, I'll answer that question in a second. Elliot Serrano is not even a paper champion. He's a toilet paper champion. So anything that he's ever done, anywhere, anytime, anything, it's self-proclaimed. Okay, everything that we do, everything that you do is on the up and up. We are what everybody wants to be. Everybody knows that we speak the truth. Everybody knows that, Johngy, that you are the most premier, you are the true champion of entertainment in all of Chicago and all over anywhere. Elliot, I'm going to tell you this right now. I think you need to go ahead and defend that bout against Johngy, because I will be in Johngy's corner. And Elliot, you know, you could sit there with Miss Moneypenny. Yes, she's a beautiful puppy. We like her very much. I will like to pet her and tell her that her owner stinks. But you know what? You need to step up to this man right here and actually defend that championship belt that you hold so near and dear. That being said, the undisputed intergender tag team champions of the world, Roxy Hart and Joey Roth, we put the challenge out, man. We put the challenge out, and everybody and anything on Facebook. Everybody does everything on Facebook and social media. We are like, anybody, all you have to do is book the match. I'm not going to book it. If you want my belt, if you want this belt, if you want her belt, if you want our belts, all you have to do is book it. You book it, we'll show up. We're not going to book it. You want us more than we want you. So anytime anybody wants to go against the undisputed intergender tag team champions of the world or the Joey Roth America title or the Roxy Hart belt, you just have to just book it. And I don't know how many times I have to say that. Everybody's like, oh, we're going to go ahead. Oh, yeah, book it. That's all you got to do. But
is there a chance you'll be defending that belt, those belts at C2E2 coming up?
You know, Frankie Muniz and Rosario Dawson have been saying a lot of things about us. And I think Roxy Hart and Joey Roth against Malcolm in the Middle and the chick from Clerks 2, I don't know what else she does, Rosario and Frankie, I think that would be a pretty good match. But you know who I think deserves a one-on-one match for my Joey Roth championship out? That is Sven Gooley. Hey, Sven, you remember me? You remember Joey Roth from Nightmare on Chicago Street a couple of years ago before the pandemic, your 40th anniversary? Roxy Hart and myself were on the stage in front of 15,000 people and presented Sven with his own championship belt. I think we should do a Roth versus Sven title for title match right here. See who's really the king of entertainment in Chicago. And I think Johngy should be the ref.
Well, this could really start to be a good card. You got B versus Elliot. You got you versus Sven. This could sell out arenas.
I think we could sell out arena from coast to coast because everybody knows what Elliot does. Everybody knows what Johngy does. I mean, you're all over these all different all over the interwebs, all over the place. I mean, I see your report on WrestlingFigs.com. I've seen your reports all over the place and everything on the beat and so forth. And Elliot, I've seen him. I've seen him post pictures with hot dogs and stuff like that.
Well, in all fairness, Elliot is a legend in the field. My only complaint is he hasn't defended the belt. I have a high amount of respect for him.
How about that for a double main event? You know, Johngy versus Elliot and Sven versus Roth. I think that right there, oh, You imagine how many tickets we could sell to that. So here we go. We're going to go ahead. I'm commandeering this. We're going to put the challenge out there. Johngy versus Elliot, except Elliot, and Roth versus Sven, except Sven. I will be seeing you at C2E2 this weekend, Sven. So let's see exactly if we had that rubber chicken, you bring the bonehead boy, and you bring whatever you can, bring the coffin, bring Jim Roach, you bring everybody, and then we'll see what's going to happen.
Aside from C2E2, aside from wrestling, there's another, well, there's many more sides, but there's one more side in particular of Joey Roth that I want to talk about. You, my friend, are an actor.
I could take the fancy glasses off and I have my money shirt and everything. But when you get to the core of what Joey Roth loves more than anything is the theater stage. I'm an actor. This is an act. You know, this is 100% true. But I do love the theater stage. And I have recently signed to be in the production of William Shakespeare's The Tempest. The Tempest starts on September 16th and goes to October 2nd. It's 3 weekends in Elmhurst, Illinois for Green Man Theater. Green Man Theater is a not-for-profit organization who's put on so many plays. This is their first main play coming back after that silly pandemic thing we just had to deal with. So I play Stefano, which is the king's butler, who is also a villain who wants to take over everything.
There's a surprise.
Exactly, right? So we had our first read through a couple of days ago, and tomorrow and the next couple of days, so we'll be rehearsing and getting that in. But yeah, I started as a stage actor. I started in theater, and at the same time, I got into professional wrestling and all that stuff. But yeah, theater is where it's at. It's why I love professional wrestling, because we get to see. I'm watching right now. You can't see this, but I'm watching the Jerry Lawler, Terry Funk empty arena match right now. If I knew how to, okay, I'm watching that right now.
Yep.
That's
I've seen it many times.
Wrestling is the purest form of theater. You have your good guy, you have your bad guy, you have your conflict, you have your resolve, and you have everything like that. A lot of people like to crap at professional wrestling, but they don't understand. Way back then, it was always it's theater. It's theater, but the theater is a good thing too for me to go to, because it gives me time to remember where I came from. And then after I do that, I can still go to the ring and bash people's head in.
Well, I can't end this interview without mentioning one person I know. I certainly know that part of your persona, part of your inspiration is this man. We recently, unfortunately, his death was a couple of days ago, his anniversary of his death, I should say. I know Roddy Piper is big in your mind.
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously you can tell by the way I act, and I don't do this. I don't do it on purpose. It just comes out that way. And anytime I cut interviews, I look back and go, geez, how much else can I borrow from the hot rod and all that stuff? So yes, 7 in heaven, man. 7 years ago, we lost, without a doubt, not only the greatest wrestler and entertainer, but one of the greatest people ever. I know you've met Rod a bunch of times. I've met him a bunch of times. And for the first second when you meet Roddy, it's like, oh, jeez, it's Roddy Piper. And then 2 seconds later, he's talking about his family, and he's asking personal questions about you. And you forget that you're talking to one of the people that you've looked, I mean, my idol's always been my dad. So, I mean, I always admired Piper and all that stuff. So, I mean, so when you look at a guy, the very first thing I ever saw was in 1984, was Piper beating up Frankie Williams. That was the first thing I ever saw in professional wrestling. I was watching, it was raining outside. I used to go out and play. I'm flipping through the channels on WFOD before Sven Gooley. Then I see this guy in a baby blue bathing suit, I thought it was. And I saw this guy in a dress. I'm like, what is this? And this is 100% shoot. It's legit. Then I saw this guy going, I'm from Columbus, Ohio. Then from right then when he started, I'm like, wow, I like this guy. Because I like him because he beat up some schlub or something like that. But excuse me. But from that point in '84 until now, and how you know, when we talked to Tio, we talked to his daughter, and I've spoken to his wife, his son. And if you would have told me back in 1985, when I had my VCR with the cord on it for recording on MTV, the War to Settle the Score, my favorite match of all time, that guy in the dress smashing the guitar and beating up Mr. T, I would actually be able to talk to his family, I would have been like, are you freaking kidding me? So, but yeah, we lost Piper 7 years ago, and I still keep on watching. I keep on reading for Monday nights, just thinking he'd show up, and we miss him very dearly. And he was just the greatest guy ever to me. Such a, they say never meet your heroes, but I'm glad I did a lot.
Well, yeah, the thing with you, I know you don't copy him. You don't try to copy him.
I don't. I swear to God, it doesn't.
No, it's clear. But you can certainly see bits of Piper sprayed around in the various things you do, and I think it's out of respect, and I think it's out of admiration, and I'm sure. I've talked to Roddy many times throughout the years, and I'm sure that he would be a big fan of your work as well.
I would love to hope so. I know my very near dear good friend P.L. Myers did a show at Piper, Dreamwave, many years ago, and even P.L. was like, he would have loved you. He would have. And like I said, I met Piper a bunch of times, at least maybe 5 times or so. And he was always just the nicest person. Well, he's nice to everybody, but yeah, I damn it, I wish I would have been on that show, because I think I would have loved to have been on that show. I could have left right after that and go, I'm done.
Well, you do him proud. But before I let you go, Joey, tell everybody where they can find information about you, about Roxy, about the Idols, whatever you want, man.
Well, the main way to get a hold of me when I'm not banned is through Facebook at the Main Event Villain. Look under that, or Joey Roth, and you'll see everything that I'm doing. I have a show this Saturday, August 6th in Fox Lake, so I'll be doing double duty. I'll be doing C2E2 and then leaving to go to Fox Lake, then coming back to C2E2. I've got that coming up. I've got a secret super surprise coming up. Then September 10th, Rock to Pro Wrestling back in Joliet. October 20th, I believe, is Chicagoland Championship Wrestling, which is the greatest ever organization. We are on Amazon Prime. I'll be doing commentary. Yesterday started a heck of a long 3 months for me. I was off July. I took some time off and all that stuff, but now every weekend has something going on. I'll be wrestling. I'll be acting. The theater opens up, greenmantheatertroupe.com, or look at their Facebook. You'll see where I'm going to be doing the Tempest. So you'll be seeing a lot of different things from me, Johngy. And as you know, it's a very busy life being world famous and a fabulous idol.
I can only imagine. I will be in the audience for the Tempest. I already talked to PL. We're going to try to work out a date where we could all go together. But one way or the other, I will be out there to see you, and of course reporting on it. And with that, Joey, I appreciate your time. I will see you at C2E2, and that's it for now. We'll do this again, and when the fans are ready to have another update from you.
That's what the fans deserve it. I don't know if they deserve these type of things, but Johngy, I love you. I don't love too many people in this world, but you are definitely on top of the list of the second page.
I'll take it, man. Right back at you. Joey, thank you for your time. Always good, my friend.
Thank you.